Hello, and welcome to the Abundology podcast. My name is Renee Spears, and I'm an abundance and business mentor, and I help people have more money, love, time, and joy in their lives. I'm coming to you from downtown Portland, Oregon, and this is the weekly energy update for the week of April 26, 2020. Every Sunday, I talk about how the energy is going to be for the week ahead, and I also infuse the show with some positive vibes, so you get a little positive energy boost just for listening. And when I do this show, I look at what's happening out in the world. There are so many things that influence the energy out there. Astrology, especially the moon because it's so close to Earth, numerology, special dates, seasons, world events, and all of these things are taken into account when I figure out what's happening with the energy out there. And now, because of COVID affecting all of us, everyone on the planet, the collective energy is influencing all of us too. And I feel this energy, just like we can feel when we're tired or hungry. I can feel the energy out in the world. We check in with our own personal energy throughout the day to see how we're feeling, but we can also check into the world energy too. And we're already doing this. So you probably just aren't aware that you're doing this. And I see it most often in friends that I may be meeting that will say, oh my God, have you been out there? People are driving crazy today. And yes, that crazy energy is out there and shows up a lot as people being impatient while they're driving. So that's one way that it shows up. So we see how this COVID energy is changing our planet. We have clearer air, clearer water, the animals are moving back into the cities, the ozone layer is healing, and we also see what hasn't been working in our financial systems, our governments, equity in our communities, our healthcare system. It's clear that major changes are happening and we're never going back to the way things were before on some of these things. There's no way that our country opens up next week and we go back to what these things were before. It's not happening. So the same way that the world is changing out there, we have those changes happening internally too. So if you think of the major changes that have and are happening out in the world, those same major changes are happening internally. So being in Taurus season now, when things are a little calmer, we're getting the opportunity to work with these internal changes. And I've had so many clients lately that are making major life career changes. Some of them don't know what they're going to do next, but they know that what they're doing now is no longer working for them. So this is a time to get quiet, to go inside and listen. Your life is whispering to you now. And it took some time to get over the shock of what's happening out there and to adjust to the changes of, working from home, figuring out our finances, getting our kids, the online schooling set up. But by now we've figured most of that stuff out. And now the internal shifts are going to come. And this is one of the biggest opportunities we'll ever have to course correct our lives, to shift jobs, partners, homes, attitudes, thoughts. And as we go through this time, the things that need changing are going to become apparent. We need some quiet time to let them percolate and the aha moments to show up. But change is happening, and it's change for the better. It's time to take our lives to the next level. And the idea of change can be difficult. Mostly what I see is that people know their current situation is outdated and they need to move on, but they aren't sure what they want to move on to, so they kind of stay stuck, sometimes for years and decades where they are. So this is the time to get quiet. Take a time out and let the inspiration come. And don't beat yourself up because you don't know yet. Most of us don't know what's coming right now. Instead, let's acknowledge that the changes are happening. Step number one, acknowledge that stuff is happening. And these are major changes. The big things that we see happening out in the world are also happening internally. And major changes like these take time. So let's give them the time to happen in an unhurried way. Just be and listen and allow the changes to come. Okay, so this is really interesting. I'm going to point this out right now. You may have heard Jack shaking his head in the background. And a lot of times when I record my sessions, I tell people when you're listening to the recording back, listen to see what else is in the background. If you hear sirens or a phone ringing or something like that, pay particular attention to what we're talking about at that time, because it's really important. So what we were talking about at that time is that these are major, major changes. And lots of us had never had an opportunity like this before to up-level our lives and become more of who we really are. You might have done a week or two at a silent retreat and had some similar shifts. But right now it's happening to the entire planet. So if you had a silent retreat, you may come back shifted, but the world may have not shifted. So now we're shifting along with the world. So let's embrace it. We're coming out the other side better people, more authentic people, more of who we really are. So I plan on spending the next 2 to 4 weeks just being quiet and allowing the changes to happen. We don't need to figure anything out. We don't need to know how we're going to get there right now. We'll have that Gemini energy at the end of end of May, and then in June to figure out all the hows. And sometimes people can get stuck on the how. So don't let the how stop us this time. We'll figure that part out. Right now, just get clear on what changes you want to happen, and we can figure out the how later. So this is a very powerful, transformative time. Take it, use it, come out of the other side of this transformed, a better version of yourself. So this week, your job is to get quiet, just be, and let the internal changes work their way through. There's no need to hurry or push them. Just let them percolate through. And absolutely do not go to the beating yourself up stage. You may, figure out that you need a career change, and this change could have been in the back of your mind for the past 10 years. And it would be really easy to say that I should have made these changes a decade ago, but don't go there. So now is the time for the change. It wasn't the right time before. Now it is. So don't blame yourself because you wasted time. And I truly believe in divine timing. That's when everything happens at the exact right time for your highest good. And that's what's happening now. Now is the time for huge changes everywhere, and especially internally, as much internally as externally. It's a magical, powerful time. So let's embrace it. Let's embrace it and grow and finally up-level our lives so that we can be the people that we came here to be this lifetime. And if you feel like you can use some guidance or some clarity around all of this, feel free to book an appointment with me. Clarity is one of my gifts. I can see the best for you and your life. And now is the time to go there. Maybe not an appointment with me, but now is the time in general to go there and be the better version of yourself, the best version of yourself, to enjoy more of life. As always, thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for listening. Enjoy this powerful time, and I will talk to you next week.